Hello, Journal Junkies! Today I have kind of a fun thing to share with you. This is a journaling tip that I learned actually out of necessity. I love to collage with magazine clippings and things like that. Well, one time I was going through a situation where I was house sitting for some folks and I had to all I had with me was newspapers. I didn't have any magazines to collage with, and I was like, the end of the world. So I actually had to pick up the newspaper and start getting super creative with what I did in my journal. So I can give you an example. So now it's one of my favorite things. Like I love collaging with newspaper. And I've done a few things like here on this page this one here, I took, and the petals on this flower are made out of just regular old newspaper print, and I used these distress inks, these little mini distress inks. They come in packs of 4, and hi, yeah, I'm peeking around the corner here so I can see what I'm doing. These little distress inks come in packs of 4, and I always take some of these in my little traveling journal bag along with a glue stick and a pencil sharpener and colored pencils and stuff like that, and some stickers. And so I did, oops, this one here. This is all newspaper print. And then, so let's go ahead and jump in and I'll show you some of my favorite things to do with newspaper. So the first obvious thing is comics. I mean, these are just comics that we're in. I live in a small town. We have a small town paper. This is a comic that was in the paper. This is the answer to a crossword puzzle. I just like that as kind of a fun element. Newspaper is super fun to work with because it glues on easy. It's really thin. I enjoy working with it, and I'll talk about adhesives in another video when I've really figured out what I really like. For now, I just use the Elmer's Extreme Hold glue stick when I'm traveling. That's what I usually take with me. It's what I usually use. But I'm going to be trying Collage Podge here pretty quick, so I'll let you know how that works. And again, same thing with this. This is another comic, and this is like a write about it, like your dream job. It's like a writing prompt that I found actually in the kids section of the newspaper. So the kids section of the newspaper is a fun place to look for if your newspaper has a kids section. Like this is a little thing that was written backwards, and it's talking about money, but I just thought it was interesting, so I cut that out. This is another thing that was in the kids section of the paper, and it's just like a little match up the emotions thing, but I thought that was such a fun element. This is another thing that I found in the newspaper. And then the other place that I like to look for things to clip out is the advertisement section, obviously. So I found this in an advertisement, and then a lot of times, I found this. This was on like the like your local paper on Facebook, and it had this like, and I thought that was cool, so I cut that out. This was an advertisement for an event, and it was kind of a cool element. I might use it in some kind of a collage, so I cut that out. Even though I haven't gone to that event, it was an interesting thing. So those are kinds of things to look for. Another place to look for the advertisements is in the guts of the newspaper. So, when you get a newspaper and you've got all the guts that are in it, like all the advertisements and stuff like that, usually my mom just we always just threw them out. And I was always like, there must be something more. And so I started cutting out wording and stuff from the advertisements. So here we have Mad Scientist, and this one here was from I think it was like a J.C. Penney's ad or something, but it says friends and family, and that'd be kind of a cool element to use in a collage. This is a Halloween cupcake, and it's got like one of those little mallow cream pumpkins and a little rest in peace chocolate thing. This is a Thanksgiving turkey that was in a food advertisement. I love this. I'm so gonna use this. I have dogs. Can you tell? This is a little puppy tearing apart a shoe. We have a puppy. It's actually a black lab. I have a yellow lab, but my brother has a black lab, and he's a puppy, and he tore apart everything. Tears apart everything. And so this is very appropriate right now. Another place that I like to look for things to cut out in the newspaper, and again, like I said, I have a small town paper, so I don't have, there's a lot of stuff that are in your bigger papers, like your LA Times or your New York Times or your USA Today. Those bigger newspapers have a whole lot more to them. My local paper is really thin. I mean, it's not a big paper, but there are still things that I can cut out and use for collaging. And if you don't have a lot of money to spend on stickers and scrapbooking paper, this is a great thing to do. Political comments. This one was just really funny. It's like all these different, these lives matter, and then like this little voice in the cloud saying, like, what's the matter? It's just kind of a funny comic that was ironic. Recipes. I found recipes in one of the part of the guts of the paper that I clipped out just for fun. This is just a random thing. Historic pictures. Our paper a lot of times does historic pictures, or sometimes in people's obituaries they have like a picture of themselves from way back when. This is a historic picture. I'm going to cover this person's face for their privacy, but it's a picture of an army captain with his helmet and his or like an army person. Military person. And it's a cool element to use in a collage because it's a historic picture and it's in newspaper paper. So it's just kind of a neat thing to work with. I love the games, oftentimes just for texture elements, like the crosswords, and here's a word search, or Sudoku or something like that. Sometimes I will take like a bright red pen and I would write in words that have the letters for the spacing, but not necessarily, I guess this is upside down. Like I would write in freedom or inspiration or something, but I would write it, my own words, into the crossword spaces, or word search. I mean, not necessarily, the words they may be looking for are probably something like if pumpkin or turkey if it's fall right now. Can you tell from my jewelry it's fall? But in a word search, I might find my own word, like love or something, and I would circle that in a bright red pen, stick that in my journal. Again, historical things, like this was a school enrollment from 1915 that was in our local paper, and something like that I could include in my journal. Now, as far as the actual news stories, here's an example, and I just use this picture as an example. Newspaper rips beautifully, and I love to rip anything, but this is a picture of a wildfire that happened in our area, and I love how it just you see how newspaper rips so beautifully. Like rather than using fancy scissors to make edges and stuff, I just like to rip things, and you get this really cool sort of element. And if you take the paper when you're ripping and you turn the picture face up and then you rip up, you get a little bit of a white edge on your picture if you want that. Like, to see this kind of white edge down here on the bottom. If you take your picture face up and you rip down with the little strip that you're ripping off, you get a cleaner edge and you don't have necessarily that white little bit of paper. So that's just a thing to keep in mind. Now, Scotty's castle in Death Valley recently flooded, and so I cut out this this headline, and I might write about Scotty's castle and you know, cut off this under siege part, or I could cut out the Scotties and use castle under siege for something. I don't know. That's another just example. Another thing that you can use that are in newspapers are weather forecasts. Like, here is a national weather map for this week. Or, you know, this is a thing about the moon and the different weather things for your paper. So there's just, and especially like local news stuff, there's so much that you can do with newspaper. I mean, and it's super, this is the cheapest collage elements you're going to find. I mean, it's even cheaper than magazines, unless you have like free magazines and stuff like that. But you can use this technique with junk mail, magazines, store ads, anything like that. You can do stuff like this where you clip stuff out. So I hope you guys find some inspiration in that. And if you'd like me to do more videos like this, please like and comment and subscribe, and we'll be in touch soon. Have a great day.